Alright, 7th graders, welcome back from break. Today we will be jumping into one of our, I feel, more difficult sections of the year. So make sure we're paying attention, taking very good notes, especially write down the examples. This stuff is a long process for some of the problems. Some are just one step, but it'll make it a lot easier on yourself when you get to the homework and the test. So, converting rates and measurements. We're going to take different rates and turn them into different comparisons. So we're going to turn miles per hour, and we're going to look at it as how many feet per second is that. Or, miles per gallon, how many feet per quart. We're going to convert from one comparison to another. So, what that looks like, what that's called is dimensional analysis. It's a process of including units of measurement as factors when you compute. So what we need to know is how many feet are in a mile, or how many minutes are in an hour, or seconds in a minute. We have to be able to convert this in order to jump from hours to minutes to seconds, and the other way around too. So what we're going to do here is we're going to convert 760 miles per hour, and I want to know how many miles per minute is that. So if we're going 760 miles per hour, that's pretty fast, but how many miles we go in each minute is what I'm more concerned with now. So how we do that, the dimensional analysis is, I have miles per hour. If you look right here, miles per hour, the division sign's per. So miles per hour, I want to take that hour and turn it into minutes. Okay, well, we know how to cross cancel, reduce fractions. So if I have an hour in my denominator in this fraction, and I multiply it by a fraction with hour in the numerator, those hours will cancel out. Okay, that's what dimensional analysis is. I want to cancel out those hours, so I'm left with miles on top, and I'm left with minutes on the bottom, so miles per minute. And how I do this is, I know 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 760 miles per hour, and I am going to multiply it by 1 hour, 1/8 we'll put, over 60 minutes. I'll just put put the whole thing so we don't think it's miles. 60 minutes. So if you look at this, my hours will cancel out. Hours are gone. So on top I have 760 miles per, on the bottom I have 60 minutes. And now what we did before we left for break was unit rates. Well, I want to find out how many miles, let me have a little better M there, how many miles per 1 minute. So just like you did before break, you take the numerator and divide it by the denominator. So you do 760 divided by 60, and that will give you about 12.7 miles per minute. That's how many miles you're going per minute. Alright, so in English, I guess, or in word form, that's what it looks like. In fraction or mathematical form, that's what it looks like. Alright, so whatever we're trying to get rid of, in this case we're trying to get rid of hours and turn it into minutes, we have to make sure we cross cancel those. That's our goal, is to cross cancel them. And then we know 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So that's why we put that there. Alright, so let's try another one. Real world example. Tyree and 3 friends attend skydiving class before their first jump. The instructor tells them they will travel about 176 feet per second. How many miles per hour is this? Well, this one's a little bit different now. Now we have feet per second to miles per hour. So we have to turn feet into miles for one conversion and seconds into hours for another conversion. So it's just going to be multiple fractions. Instead of just 2 fractions, we're going to have 3 fractions. So here's my first fraction, 176 feet per second. And I want to turn that into miles per hour. So if I start making my fractions, there's going to be one fraction where I turn feet into miles, and times another fraction, times, where I turn seconds into hours, okay? So feet's on top here, so I have to put feet on the bottom of this fraction. I want them to cancel out. Okay? Seconds is on the bottom of this fraction, so I got to put it on the top of this one, so seconds cancel out. I'm going to turn seconds into hours, so I put the H down there, and I'm turning feet into miles, so I put the miles up here. Okay? And now look at my conversion here. I know 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So 1 mile, it's going to be tough to write here, but 5,280 feet. And over here, 1 hour is equivalent to 3,600 seconds. Like that. So now look at my cancel out. My feet are gone. My seconds are gone. And I'm left with miles on top. And I'm left with hours on the bottom. So now on top I have to do 176 times 3,600. And I pull out my calculator for that. Oops, 176 times 3600. And I get, ooh, a big number. 633,600. And on the bottom now I have 5,280 times 1, which is 5,280. And again, I want to turn this into a unit right now, just like before we left for break. So take the numerator divided by the denominator, and I end up with about, or exactly, 120 miles per hour. If you do 633,600 divided by 5,280, you get 120 miles per hour. Right there. Alright, now, these conversions are nice and clean because feet to miles converts. What happens if we go from the metric system to the customary system, or vice versa? Those conversions are not as clean. So we need to copy down this chart on this next page right here. Go ahead and pause the video and copy all that down. What it does is it tells you 1 inch is equal to how many centimeters, or 1 foot is equal to how many meters. 1 yard equals how many meters. And then over here goes the other way around. 1 centimeter equals how many inches. 1 meter equals how many feet. So it does it for length, capacity, and then mass. So make sure you copy all that down because we're going to need to convert from customary to metric or metric to customary as well. So it's not always a clean conversion. We're going to have decimals, which is fine. We know how to do that. So let's get some practice going from customary to metric and vice versa. I want to go from 12 centimeters to how many inches is that? Okay, so here I have 12 centimeters. Let's just write 12 centimeters over here. I'm going to multiply it by a fraction where centimeters is on the bottom. So they cross cancel, centimeters and centimeters. And I want to end up with inches. So inches is on top. And my conversion tells me 1 inch, so 1 inch is equivalent to 2.54 centimeters. Alright, I'll just put this over 1 if I want to. Centimeters are gone. On top, 12 times 1 is 12. On my bottom, 1 times 2.54 is 2.54. And it's inches is my label here. So again, turn it into a unit rate, take the top, divide by the bottom, and I end up with 4.72 inches. So about, this is a, this is our about sign. So there's our answer, 4.72. Okay, same thing for capacity. If I want to go from quarts to liters, okay. Again, metric to customary. 1 quart is about this many liters. So 4 quarts is what I start with. Quarts is on top. Where do I want to put it in my fraction? Well, I got to put it on the bottom of my fraction. Okay, so I cancel out. And what do I want to end up with? Well, I want to know liters. So liters goes on top. 1 quart equals 0.946 liters. And this one's pretty nice because there's only 1s on the bottom. Okay, so I just have to take 4 times this decimal and I'll get my answer of 3.78 liters. Right there. So here's some more practice ones. They're not too difficult when you're just doing one at a time. Not that difficult, but it's just messy, I'll call it, with the decimals. Not the cleanest conversion. Alright, this last problem, let's do a real world problem converting from customary to metric or vice versa. They want to find out how many, or what's the top speed of a tortoise or a giant tortoise, and we want it to be in centimeters per second, right here, centimeters per second. So my picture tells me I have 900 feet per hour. That's what I want to start with. So let's write that down. Okay, 900 feet per 1 hour. Alright. I want to end up with centimeters per second. Okay, centimeters per second. So now, this is a little difficult to jump from feet to centimeters. Okay, because 1 foot is 12 inches, and 1 inch is that many centimeters. Okay, so we're going to have a whole bunch of fractions here, which is fine. Just, again, that's where the problems get a little more difficult. So, I'm going to turn feet into inches first, so I'm going to put feet on the bottom. So 1 foot is 12 inches. And then I want to turn inches into centimeters, because I want to go all the way from feet down to centimeters. So I make another fraction. I want to get rid of inches, so I put that down there. And I want to end up with centimeters. Okay? And so it tells me up here 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. And now I got to turn hours into seconds. Well, first it tells me 1 hour is 60 minutes. So hours is on the bottom. So I put it on top. One hour is the same as 60 minutes. And now I want to take minutes and turn it into seconds. So minutes is on the bottom here, so I got to put it on top. I want to end up with seconds. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So now look at this. Feet are gone, feet are gone. Inches are gone, inches are gone. Hours gone with this hour, and then minutes is gone with this minutes. So that's dimensional analysis. What am I left with on top? Well, the only thing not canceled out is centimeters. So I have centimeters on top. Only thing left on the bottom is seconds. And that's what I want. I want centimeters per second. Okay? So I multiply this. 900 times 12 times 2.54. And I get this number down here. I'll write it down here. 27,432 centimeters per 60 times 60 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 3,600 seconds. And now I want to turn this into a unit rate. So I take the numerator divided by the denominator, and I get, on my calculator, 7.62. Let's see if I'm right. 7.62 centimeters per second. Hey, there it is. And that's how that is done. So this is the extent. This is the difficult problem that I talked about at the beginning of it. All right, there's a lot of conversions here. Feet to inches, inches to centimeters, hours to minutes, minutes to seconds. All right, so we have to keep track of our chart. We have to know our conversions, whether it's metric, customary, whatever. All right, good luck on the assignment today. Ask questions. Hopefully you took down all the notes, took down this chart, took down the examples, because these examples will help you of how to make these long problems a lot more straightforward. Have a great day.